Hello. Welcome to Collaboration to create an IT bachelor's degree. We are going to detail our process of creating the Bachelor of Applied Science in Web Design and Development for Clark State College. I'm Scott Dawson, Coordinator of Graphic Design and New Media, and presenting with me is Diane Roux, Coordinator of Computer Software Development.
The essential tasks of a full-stack web developer are web design and web development. The design is the front end, the interface with the user. The development is the back end, the programming and database that ties everything together and makes it function. At Clark State College, we have two associate degree programs, New Media and Computer Software Development, that both teach components of web design and web development. But we didn't have one program that taught both components in one program until the Ohio Department of Higher Education decided that community colleges could design applied bachelor's degrees. Then we worked together to create the web design and development degree.
The paper Diane and I submitted on this collaboration to create a new degree ended up being quite a cathartic reflection of our journey to create this degree. We hope you find this process informative and helpful in creating degrees at your own institutions. Clark State's administration was cautious about proceeding with the second round of bachelor's degree proposal requests that the Ohio Department of Higher Education, or ODHE, opened up in June of 2018. I reached out to the administration and shared our idea for a full-stack web development degree and used the state and U.S. data to back up our case. Web developer was listed on the Ohio Means Jobs in-demand occupation list online, which was one of the minimum requirements from ODHE, essentially that a new degree proposal address a statewide workforce need. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Jobs Ohio Regional 2024 Job Outlook report also further backed up the national and local hiring prospects for web developers. I asked for 5 days to reach out to potential local industry partners to further prove the need, which the administration granted. I started by forming a list based on local web design and development companies on our existing advisory committees, adjunct faculty already in the industry, recommendations from board of trustee members, and a list from marketing, which was very timely because they were in the midst of doing a website redesign. Then I made initial phone calls to gauge need and ask hiring level supervisors to fill out a survey. During the survey process, we were direct in asking how companies could support the new program, whether it be through co-ops or internships, curriculum development, advisory support, job shadowing, capstone and/or experiential learning opportunities, recruiting and promoting, or hiring graduates. The results of the survey were overwhelming. 100% of the 18 industry partners we surveyed indicated a need for a full-stack web development degree, and 14 of the industry partners agreed up front to provide letters of support for our proposal, with one just saying they needed additional information before agreeing. And spoiler alert, the one holdout did end up submitting a letter of support and actually became one of the degree's biggest advocates. With the overwhelming industry support and the positive job outlook, the college administration agreed to move forward with the proposal to the state.
When we created the curriculum, we based it on recommendations from businesses and former students. For the first 2 years, we modified the new media degree to create a web design option that included 4 courses from the computer software development degree. We also modified the computer software development degree to create a web development option that included 4 courses from the new media degree. For the last 2 years, we created 12 new courses, 4 in web design, 4 in web development, and 4 in experiential learning. The curriculum is available online at the web address shown at the bottom of the slide. The web address will take you to this page. Scroll down to bachelor's degrees, view all 6 majors. At the bottom is listed the web design and development design concentration and web development concentration. Click on the one you want. Scroll down, expand to see the curriculum. This shows all 4 years of the curriculum. If there's a particular course you want to see, click on the course code and number, and that will bring up the syllabus.
2 consultants were hired by the college to assist with the proposal creation. One of the consultants in particular provided some strong regional job data from Burning Glass Technologies that helped make our case to the state. Burning Glass Technologies indicated that locally there would be an 11% growth of web development positions by 2023, and that in the year before this proposal, there were 242 ads for full-stack web developers in the region. Diane and I made significant contributions to the proposal as subject matter experts. In particular, we did a review of all of the computer science programs offered by higher education across the state to see if there was any overlap in what we were going to offer. It was quickly determined that any overlap was minimal and that there was nothing else like this potential full-stack degree offered in the state of Ohio. Another area where we contributed was the budget, where we pointed out key facilities, equipment, and staff support that would be needed. The internship process would be helped by having a career navigator, and a new student web server was needed. Additional support was provided by our deans, the Director of Career Services, the Senior Institutional Research Analyst, the Vice President of Academic Affairs, the Controller, the Vice President of Business Affairs, and Marketing. It takes a village to put together a degree. The letters of support from our industry partners ended up being a critical piece of the puzzle. Quotes from the industry partners were used throughout the proposal to help support our case for why this was such an important need for Ohio. After the proposal was submitted to the state, the submissions were posted on the Ohio Department of Higher Education's website, and 2 weeks were given for public comment. We had decided that it would be best to refrain from commenting and instead encouraged our industry partners, advisory members, local career technology centers, current students, and alumni to give their support of the degree. This resulted in 21 out of 23 public comments in support of the degree. Out of 19 proposals from 9 colleges, only 5 were accepted to move forward after the public commenting period. The final step of the proposal process was an invitation to give public testimony at the Ohio Department of Higher Education. Our public testimony was given by our Senior Vice President of Student Success at the college and 4 of our industry partners. To help, I provided talking points to our Senior Vice President for her testimony and selected the 4 industry partners who would give testimony. In selecting which industry partners would give the best testimony, I used my experience during the initial phone discussions and our experience with company reps at the curriculum meeting as a primary guide. The letters of support provided were also a clear gauge of the companies that were willing to give the strongest support to the new degree. The Senior Vice President and our industry partners did a fantastic job pointing out the value versus cost. 2 local 4-year institutions gave testimony against our proposal, but at this point the need was clearly established and backed up with strong industry support. In November of 2018, we were notified by the Chancellor that the proposal was approved. Out of the 5 degree proposals that made it to the public testimony round, only 2 were approved after testimony.
The state and regional accrediting agencies collaborated so that they visited our campus at the same time. The visit lasted for about 1.5 days. It included a tour of the campus and the areas where the courses would be taught. We arranged meetings with various offices around campus so they could evaluate student services and business services and resources like the library. They met with the Board of Trustees. They met with the faculty, and they met with the industry partners who supported the degree and want to hire our graduates. The accreditation visit was successful, and we received approval about 3 months later.
The initial plan for the degree was for it to be taught in a more traditional classroom environment. After examining our existing spaces, we quickly realized we would need to add more computers to some of our existing labs and purchase more software licenses. With the onset of COVID-19, however, and an increase in remote learning and budget cuts, it was determined to look at more hybrid and online delivery options which considerably alleviated the budget. Diane and I knew early on that one of our biggest equipment needs would be a new student web server. IT had set up a shared server for our new media and computer software development programs years ago, and it had reached the limits of its capacity. While there was agreement by both IT and faculty that a new server was needed, there was conflict at times between the pedagogical needs of the students, the limitations created by the network and security, and the amount of IT staff available to manage the server. The other challenge was the considerable cost and timeline of purchase. The college didn't want to purchase it before the degree was approved by our accreditors, so even though we had come up with the specifications and gotten quotes, the server didn't arrive until early March 2020 and was not set up and provided to faculty until late in July 2020, a month before classes were to begin.
When we talked about hiring a new faculty member for this program, we likened it to finding a unicorn. It would be difficult to find somebody who was proficient in both web design and web development. We considered a split appointment, hiring two people like half-time. One would do web design, one would do web development, but we posted a full-time position instead for one person. We revised expectations after we saw the applicant pool because nobody met the original criteria, but we were able to arrange interviews with several candidates. They were online interviews because nobody was on campus at that time due to COVID-19. And then we selected someone that was hired to begin 2 months before the fall term began.
The course development process at Clark State starts with the development of master syllabi that establish goals and objectives for a course. Diane and I used the input from the curriculum meeting with industry partners to create those syllabi. We decided to split the course development responsibilities. I would develop the 4 design courses and 2 of the application courses, and Diane would create the 4 development courses and 2 of the application courses. Those master syllabi were then reviewed and approved by a curriculum committee before moving on to additional course development. After the new faculty member was hired and started in June 2020, Diane and I were given supplemental contract days to help her get up to speed. Although Diane and I had collaborated together for many years, we didn't know that we had a similar process for course development. The goals and objectives of the syllabi we had developed served as a roadmap for the topics that needed to be covered over a 16-week semester. Assessments, including assignments, projects, quizzes, and exams, were then determined to ensure competency in all of the topic areas. Because the technologies used in web design and development are constantly evolving, we knew that we would need to leverage open educational resources that would evolve as the technologies evolve. Here is a list of the classes Diane and I developed for the degree. You can find out more about these by going to clarkstate.edu, as Diane showed earlier. Course development will continue to be supported by an advisory committee of web design and development industry partners. We have found this to be the most effective way to make sure our courses and curriculum stay relevant and allow our students to make an easier transition into industry.
It's tough to get students interested in a new program if nobody knows about it. We weren't allowed to talk about the program until after we got accreditation approval, but we did tell our current students that it might be coming. We started developing marketing materials only about 4 months prior to the fall term when the degree launched. And that was right before summer break, so a lot of people were gone and couldn't review the materials that were developed, and the new faculty member hadn't started yet. So there were a lot of delays in marketing the degree.
So what are our next steps? The degree launched in fall of 2020. Diane and I were confident early on that the degree would be approved, so we had already developed the new media web design option and the computer software development web development option, and came up with a list of courses that can be completed in a year that would catch up our existing new media and computer software development graduates. This enabled students to be registered for years 3 and 4 of the bachelor's degree. The server is ready with the documentation for students prepared by faculty just in time for the start of the initial WDD courses in fall. We are testing as we go. Marketing efforts continue after a lot of the initial marketing coming from Diane and I to our existing students. During fall 2020, the WDD courses that will run in spring 2021 will be developed. This leads us to our final reflections on the process. We wanted to share some highlights from the degree development timeline. When we look back at the process, it has been a lot of hurry up and wait. From the initial approach to administration in late June of 2018 and approval to move forward in early July, to a proposal submitted to the state less than a month later on July 20th, public commenting and public testimony in August, then a wait until November 2018 when we received notice from the Chancellor that the degree was approved to move on to the accreditation process. Then another wait until a period of rather intense preparation leading up to the regional and state accreditation visit that didn't happen until September 23rd and 24th in 2019. Being optimistic, we began talks about the student web server needs in October of 2019, but the new server wasn't made available to faculty until late in July 2020. And even though we received notification of the final approval for the degree in December 2019, we weren't able to get a new faculty member on and start WDD course development until June of 2020. All of this being in place just in time before the start of fall semester in 2020.
There were a few surprises or things we didn't really plan on. The faculty wanted to call the degree Full Stack Web Development, but the administration wanted to call it Web Design and Development. The faculty ended up doing a lot of coordination of the program that the new faculty member normally would have done, but that person wasn't here yet. So we did a lot of planning and student advising and recruiting and scheduling classes and updating catalog entries. The web server was delayed over and over again, and we didn't get access to it until about a month before the term began. There wasn't enough time to meet with the advisory committee one more time before we did fall course development, and no marketing efforts were made until the assistant dean stepped in to coordinate them.
There are several key takeaways we have had from putting this degree together. Strong industry partnerships are essential. There's increasing pressure from the media and the public about the value of higher education versus the cost. An important consideration for whether or not future degrees will have value will be whether they fill important skills gaps and address future workforce needs. For degrees that teach ever-evolving technologies like web design and development, faculty will need to work with an advisory of industry partners to keep the curriculum relevant. Cross-departmental collaboration was key to our success. The creation of this degree was simplified by having subject matter experts in both design and development collaborating from the very beginning of this process. This also helped with initial course development. Administrative support after the degree proposal was approved was critical in keeping the timeline moving forward. Building infrastructure for a program cannot come from faculty alone. The investment needs to come from the top down to ensure that the college is giving the industry partners the degree that they helped create. Course modality makes a big difference in budgeting. Having an online or even hybrid program will considerably cut costs for facilities, hardware, and software needs. Hiring faculty for an emerging technology discipline such as full-stack web development was difficult because the existing credentials didn't completely align with the requirements of the degree we created. Another challenge is that industry experience is not typically weighted as heavily as a credential in academia. New paradigms like utilizing multiple faculty from different disciplines may be needed. Investment in the promotion, marketing, and recruiting of a new program is essential. Having a great program is not enough if no one knows about it.
It turns out it takes a whole lot of people to coordinate and create a new degree and collaborate together to make it happen. Not only the faculty members who started the project, but also the industry partners, because without their support, it wouldn't have happened. The college administration had to decide that they wanted the degree and support it. And since the faculty members were from two different schools at the college, it involved both deans and collaboration and coordination between them. There was also a whole lot of other staff involved in this project, and a lot of people worked together to make it happen.
Thank you so much for your time and attention. If you would like to find out more about new media, computer software development, web design and development, or any of the other technical programs offered at Clark State, please go to clarkstate.edu.